Hello there, welcome back to Profneel. It's a pleasure to have you here. The finest supervisor in my professional career. Well, YouTube was launched in 2005, the webcasting channel, but in circa 2000 itself, www.numtv.com, a webcasting division of Pentamediagraphics Limited, based in Chennai, was launched. I was on payroll then with Pentamedia and NumTV also. When a new HOD, my supervisor, took over, Mr. Jaigopalnair. Initially, as apprehensive for the earlier HOD was a beautiful lady, Dr. Geeta Jayaraman, who had recruited me. And this gentleman coming in was a hardcore salesperson, I learned. So I was a little apprehensive. On my first interaction with him, I knew that I would get along very well with him because we got chatting and I asked him what he was, where he was earlier. So he said he was the circulation manager of Indian Express in Delhi. The moment he said that, I smiled and I said, "That means you'll have to get up very early at about 3 o'clock in the morning." So he was surprised. He said, "Why?" I said, "So I mimicked the action of a newspaper delivery boy. I mean, chucking newspapers everywhere, and that made him smile and laugh, and we hit it off from then on." Now, proved to be a good start for. We were housed in a spacious cabin with Jacob Nair, the HOD, with Pradeep Govind and Santosh Nair, all of us with having our hailing from Kerala. The crazy people. There was never a moment there was no laughter in that room. I was not a salesperson, they were all salesperson, but they understood my strengths, accepted my strengths, and I was used for my soft skills. And for my setting up appointments with my beautiful networks in Chennai for selling. And I used to make their all salesmen used to hate making these statements in the reports, coordinating with accounts, finance, etc. I used to do all that, and I used to enjoy that. I got the outstandings clear to the accounts, and all those job was mine, and enjoyed that. And now because of the financial mismanagement, the atmosphere was rife with talks of pink slips, and familiar faces soon start disappearing. Apprehension was rife on everybody's body language. When was my turn? When was your turn? Jay, one evening, Jay, accompanied by Pradeep, came out to my desk. The expression on his face was pale. He was red. His fair complexion face was red. His body language, normally very confident, was not, was very, how would you put it? It was, his shoulders had slumped, and they sat opposite me, and Jai took for him a long while to mumble, "Neil, I'm sorry. Despite my best efforts, you have been terminated." At one point, I felt relieved. Oh, the suspense over, thank God. But then he was thoroughly upset. He could not stop my termination. He asked me to go immediately to the HR head and to sit there using my satyagraha style of practice that I used to implement with clients who refused to pay us outstandings till the time the check I got my check with all my full and final outstandings, full and final settlement. And then he asked me to come over back to the cabin. So there was just tea, some biscuits, and so that was a sort of send off. But then and he asked me to bank the check immediately the next day. And he chose to drive me home with Pradeep accompanying him. And that is what touched me the most. I mean, as a supervisor, he went that extra mile. And he did that with a purpose because he came home and he met my wife then and explained to her. It was difficult for him to explain to her, but then he did so. And in a way, I was relieved, as I said. And and then he didn't want to leave, but he wanted to leave also, to leave us alone with our each other. But this little thing that he did of dropping me home and staving off my termination for 3 to 4 months enabled me to be richer by 3 to 4 lakhs, and that helped me to keep the home fires burning. I knew that I would get an employment fast, and I got it with Deccan Aviation, another sunshine industry, India's first private helicopter charter company, with some beautiful people again. And that's why Jaigopalnair remains the most inspiring supervisor I had in my career till now. Supervisors are meant to get work done from the team members, but they also to inspire them being role models. Jaigopalnair is in doing so well in his career, his personal life. Well, that reflects what the person is all about. Because he's blessed above all, because he's got that innate goodness in him, the humanity in him. And so is Pradeep Govind, likewise doing very well in life, because that innate humanity, touch of humanity in them. Santosh is also doing well, though we've not met after that together to reminisce, yet that one particular incident. Later on in life, I met Madan. I mean, 1 month later, a HOD for another department. Madan and I got along very well, and he says, Neil, I'm sorry, but Jai really tried, But that evening, after 3 to 4 months, he finally was overwhelmingly voted out. He says, I saw that. Jai was really heartbroken that time. So that's the kind of person Jai Nair is, as a supervisor. Inspiring. Thank you very much. And embrace the twist to enjoy the turn. Thank you.